You're watching Soleful discussion.
All right, so hi, how you ladies doing today?
Good.
All right. How did our paths cross today? How did we just meet right now?
Well, we were laying here laughing really hard at a picture we took. And then we had an interview. The time has come.
Absolutely. And what's the interview going to be about? Okay, 3 topics.
Reflexology.
Reflexology is
Feet.
one of them. Feet is another one. What's the third one?
Opinions. Women.
Yeah, but it's women's opinions about those things. Mental health.
Mental health.
There it is.
Yes.
The most important out of
Let's
the 3.
talk. We're gonna talk about mental health.
There it is.
Let's get into
There
it.
it is. So first of all, when you heard feet, what's the first thing that went through your mind?
I
What did you
think about creepy men wanting feet pics.
about? Creepy men want
Creepy
feet
men.
pics.
Well,
Have you
I don't
experienced
know.
that?
When I was in middle school, yeah.
Okay. All right. Now you're in college.
Yeah.
No more. You don't experience it anymore.
No, not too much.
Okay.
But
Too much.
I just connect it with feet pics because I
Okay.
just feel like this generation is just all about people getting into that and being really open about it and
Okay.
wanting girls to like send pics of it.
So what about for you? Same experiences or different experiences? What are your thoughts when you heard it?
Mostly, but then at the same time, when you said reflexology, I thought about like massage.
Okay.
Ooh, I love
Exactly.
that.
All right, cool. So we're gonna ask some questions today that center around like feet. We'll see what your thoughts are and how you feel about it, okay?
Yeah.
All right. What about mental health? Any topics you research, maybe you follow closely, you're invested in?
Not really.
Okay.
I like in my own brain, I guess. I'm
Okay.
like connected.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about for you?
I have looked into it a lot more, especially as someone that has had severe anxiety attacks.
Okay.
And so I try to read articles to
Yeah.
make it better, to help myself.
Okay, that's dope. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about social media, the impacts it can have on like depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
We'll see what your thoughts are, okay, once we get there. Cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now what about reflexology? Familiar with it? You said the first thing you thought about when you heard that was massage, right? You familiar with reflexology at all?
I am actually
Cool.
because I actually get massages sometimes.
Okay.
And then like it is like connected with the feet
Okay.
and that stuff.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about reflexology today, and then we'll see what the thoughts are
Yeah.
once we get there. Okay, so let's start with the first question. All right, what are your thoughts on how the world's starting to become more aware of like mental health? And let's kind of do like a this way and that way, and then go back. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about that?
Wait, can you repeat that?
What are your thoughts about how the world's starting to become more aware of mental health?
It's beautiful
Okay.
because a lot of people seem like they're scared to talk about it, but you should just be open and talk about it because everyone's going through something,
Exactly.
even if it's little. So like, why not be open and like keep it like a thing? Like it's a thing. So why push it and shame it?
Yeah. I like
It's
that.
stupid. It's beautiful.
Exactly.
Love it.
What about for you?
And I think also because people are more open about it, and
Uh-huh.
I think social media plays a big part on it too.
Okay.
And I think it's a good outlet that people that have like mental
Yeah.
health problems can like refuge in or like look at, if it shows up on their feed, then it's a nice reminder if like a therapist were to post like something helpful.
Yeah. Exactly. You see a lot of those things like advocating like mental health on like
Right.
social media.
Yeah.
Informative.
It's really cool.
You
Yeah.
could share it with family members too.
Yeah.
So I think
Let me get you to kind of scoot a little closer, only because the mic will sometimes pick up on the wind if the person is too far away.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Oh.
Just you heard it. Yeah, because that way we get it right in there. Cool.
Gotta get through.
In terms of like your thoughts on social media,
Yeah.
and then how do you use social media?
Well, I use it for my artsy self.
Okay.
I like to post pictures of my animals
Okay.
and like my art or just anything I feel is creative and needs to be out there.
Nice.
Get out there.
Yeah.
I also use it just because I'm a weirdo and like to post weird videos and make people laugh.
Like you dancing and
memes.
falling or stuff
I
like
guess,
that?
yeah, like that. We post that on Instagram, so
Okay.
we're dancing hard.
Cool. What about you?
I usually use it to stay informed about different topics, like world topics,
Okay.
or like also to like get more tips on how to do like we studied cosmetology, so
Oh,
how to do
nice.
hair
Okay.
better, or what's trending, fashion,
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
makeup.
Nice. All right. So in terms of something about social media you could change, right? If somebody gave you the power to change something about
Yeah.
it, what would you change? You don't have to have something, but if there was something you could change, what would you change?
Oh, so many things popped in my head.
Oh wow, okay.
I don't know. I guess start off with like creepy people.
Okay.
And like how I just at a young age, I think a lot of that creepiness was to me.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I don't think that was okay because at a young age I didn't really know. Like, okay, that's not okay. This man shouldn't be talking to me like that.
Absolutely.
So I feel like there should be more things that like kind of connect those and keep those out of the way.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. What about for you?
Could you repeat the question?
So if there was one thing you could change about social media, what would you change? You don't have to have something, but if you do, what would you change?
I don't know. I don't think I would change much about it.
Okay. You like it how it is? Yeah, and I actually interviewed someone before who said that she felt like if you did change something, maybe it'd make it worse. Mm-hmm. So like maybe the things you have in place is not so much about changing the platform, it's more about changing people, like to how they like use it.
Yeah,
because
people.
Yeah, social media is more of a tool, right? And it's all about how you use that tool.
Yeah, definitely.
So I definitely get what you're saying there. Well, I mean, I don't think either answer is wrong.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, overall, I'd get rid of it. I don't feel like we need it. It's just so nice to be talking, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And not, I mean, the phone, of course, is a very, like, good.
Yeah.
Because you can give interviews and stuff. But I feel like when you're too attached to it, social media, it just becomes like a thing that gets in the way, kind of.
Like a vampire almost, right?
Yeah,
just
like, I feel like a vampire, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope. Is this one of your friends?
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to kind of join in on this? You can kind of answer some questions. You're good? She's like, no, thank you. So, okay. Anyway, next question. So we're going to get into these questions. Well, no, not yet. What are your thoughts, like, first of all, things that bring you anxiety? Don't go too deep, like just more surface level. What are some things that bring you anxiety?
No milk in the fridge.
Really? Okay, no milk in the fridge. Okay. All right.
I'm kidding. I have a lot of social anxiety, but I feel like cosmetology has really helped me like get out there and have to be more of a person like talker.
Yeah.
People person talker. Mm-hmm. So that really is good. But besides that, yeah.
Okay. What about for you?
Not knowing what will happen next. I like to have a lot of like I like to have goals, but also like, you know, what plans for the future. But like, so I like to be that person that knows what they're gonna do next. But when I don't know, there's things that are out of my hands, and so my mind tends to just wander to like what can happen, what could happen. That's like triggering.
Makes sense. All right, so now let's get into these questions, and we'll be intrigued to see how you guys react. What are your thoughts about your feet? How do you feel about your feet?
About feet?
Your feet.
Oh, I thought you said food. I was like, feet. I love food.
Who doesn't love food? I would imagine that everybody does.
Yeah, I think my feet are cute because my professor told me so when we were doing
Your
pedicures.
Professor told you so? Okay,
she was like, you got cute toes. I was like, oh my God, that's the biggest compliment like I've ever felt. Because I used to be so insecure about my toes. Like,
I think a lot of people who I interview, I tend to find that out, that they have insecurities about that. So yeah, it's really dope too.
Now I feel cute because my professor told me
That's dope.
So spread good positivity and
it is.
vibes.
So what about for you?
I like to keep them nice and pedicured.
Okay.
I
mean, because you're in cosmetology, so like, why not take care of them and like
I
practice
like to
on
take
yourself?
care of them.
Absolutely. Have you ever received compliments? Well, you have. Your professor. Any compliments outside of your professor? Because you said you had insecurity, so maybe you never had a positive reference point until that time?
Yeah, no, I guess when I went to nail salons.
Okay.
And then, like, I don't know, they're like, oh, you got small toes or, you know, like that.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess I kind of was like, thanks. I don't know. Question.
You don't really know how to act about it.
I know.
You're like, well, how do I respond to this? What about for you?
What was the question?
Any compliments? Have you ever received compliments about your feet before?
No.
No.
I actually haven't.
Okay.
I love your feet.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're like, the professor didn't like say anything about me.
No,
like,
I love your feet.
I've always thought my feet look strange and
really?
different.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Feet are just weird.
And people have told me they're different, and I'm like, yeah, they are, but like, feet are just feet. Like,
okay. So you've never received compliments, okay?
Not till now.
How would you feel if you did get a compliment besides the compliment your friend gave you here? If you get a compliment from somebody about that, how would it make you feel?
I would feel shy about it. Like I would want to hide them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you've already experienced it. You said it was like really a boost for you, right?
It was like a boost after I realized she looked at my feet.
All right. And so in terms of compliments that you do receive, right? What are some things you do like to be complimented about?
I think how I'm groovy because I am pretty groovy, I think.
Yeah.
And I want to spread the grooviness.
Okay. All right, spread that. Yeah, absolutely. What about for you?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't do good with compliments.
Really?
Yeah, I get really shy.
Okay, so now
I
is
don't know how to
that
react to them.
so? Is it because it's interesting to find out kind of like more of like the depth of that, like right? Because you said you get shy. It's always been like that for you.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Is it because like the compliments that sometimes you get like it's shocking to you, or is it because who it's coming from? Like if it's coming from like a stranger or something like
It
that?
makes me feel uncomfortable every time.
I see.
I
see.
don't know why.
Interesting. So even if like a family member said something nice about you, it would still make you feel that way?
Mhm.
That's interesting. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
In terms of like something that you would consider to be a deal breaker, like what's something that you would consider to be a deal breaker in someone who you're dating or potentially going to date?
Like
Deal breaker.
Yeah, something that you'd be like, I can't deal with that. No.
If they're unloyal and are not honest, yeah, like cheating.
No, cheating? Yeah, absolutely.
Also, if they don't like animals.
Yeah, my girlfriend is like probably right along the line.
Really?
She said,
Yeah, right?
Oh yeah, she said that like if you don't like animals or if you did something to an animal or whatever like that, like it's a wrap. So
No.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
What about for you?
I
Same
agree
thing?
with that if they're
Okay.
not honest.
Now here's something that's
And
that you're gonna find to be really interesting,
Yeah.
right? I have interviewed, I want to say close to, I've done maybe about 140 to 150 interviews, right?
Proud of you.
And
Good
out of
job.
everybody I've interviewed, you'd be surprised that not a lot of people say like they would like not be okay with like cheating. Like they will say everything else, and then I'll ask them like, so what about like infidelity? And they're
Yeah.
like, I'm not
Oh,
really worried about. And yeah, it's shocking. It's
Wow.
shocking to me because I'm like, I would think that would be
That's
like
a
number
deal
one.
breaker. Yeah,
I
no.
think like as soon as that happens, I'm like, how do I trust you now? I don't know how
Right?
to do that.
That's like
So
the first thing I said.
very shocking for me to hear that, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little insight about that.
Everyone's different.
Yeah, everyone's different. I mean, they're entitled to their own opinions. Absolutely. So how often do you get pedicures?
Pedicures?
Yeah, I mean, you probably do them yourself because you're in cosmetology.
Well, actually not often.
but really?
No, I just kind of like be like bald and naked.
So
if
you're
that
more of a
makes sense.
natural. You like
Yeah.
the natural feel.
But
Okay.
I also like paint them when like I feel like, I don't know, they looking a little crusty.
Okay. What about for you?
I get them done like monthly. Maybe.
Really? Do you do it yourself or you
No,
go
I
somewhere?
go somewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of a medical pedicure before?
Medical? No.
Yeah. You
No.
ever heard that? Okay. So it's when you go see a podiatrist, specialist of the foot, they'll take a look at your feet to like make sure your like toes are aligned correctly, your nails are growing correctly. They'll check for dead skin, fungus. They do all the work. They were like medical grade equipment. It's
Okay.
supposed to be like the cleanest possible thing that you
Okay.
could actually get. What are your thoughts about that? Like, would that be something you would try in the future?
No, because
No?
I don't really care about my feet.
Okay.
Or like, yeah, I'm like, they're okay.
Okay.
I feel like unless I like got like an infection, I'd be like going to a doctor. But I feel like for the people
What if you
who,
could like avoid that though by going?
Oh, I don't know. I
Because it's
don't,
kind of like going to the dentist, right? Like if
I
you're like, oh, I'll only go if I have a toothache,
yeah.
right? But like, what if there was
Like
something
daily
you could
checkups,
do to
yeah.
like prevent
I
it
don't
before?
know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like maybe because of my past history with like, you know, the creepy men, maybe that's why I wouldn't really want to be open to seeing someone like touch
Interesting.
my feet. I don't know. That could be it though.
But this
Maybe
is more
why.
in a doctor setting, so you wouldn't even be like,
Even
this
doctors
is a doctor?
can be creepy.
Okay, that's interesting.
I got trust issues, man.
Yeah, okay.
I agree
Okay.
with that one.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So same for you?
Actually, maybe I would be more open
You'd
to
be
it,
more open
but
to it.
not very often.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would get it done like maybe once every 2 years or something.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
once
Not
a
too
year.
important to me.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Let my feet.
If
Okay.
my feet are fine, then I wouldn't get it done.
Got it. Got it. How often do you guys wear like open toe shoes, sandals,
All the
flip-flops,
time.
things like that?
Always
Okay.
wearing my
'Cause it's
Birkenstocks.
Cali, man. It's Cali,
Yeah.
right?
Not
Exactly.
me. I always wear
Not you?
boots.
Really? Okay, yeah, you got the boots
All
on.
the
All
way.
right.
I was in a
I see you got
mosh
little
pit.
the Kit Kats on there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
nice.
I was in a
nice.
mosh pit with my Birkenstocks on.
Yeah, that was.
Really?
Yes.
I
That
just
was
interviewed a lady over
strong.
there and she was talking about going to shows and she's like, she does not wear open toe shoes at shows for
Really?
that very reason because she's like, people wear steel toe boots.
I
there.
love the adrenaline I get of nearly getting.
She's like, I'm not doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. So
Yeah.
you're like putting yourself
Oh
out
yeah.
there.
Oh yeah.
wow.
I'm psycho.
Danger.
This
Dangerous.
danger,
I'm
Will
psycho
Rogers.
a
Yeah,
little.
absolutely.
That's okay though.
How often do you guys go barefoot? No shoes.
Oh, yeah.
No socks.
Yes.
You
I love to
barefooted?
feel the ground and the grass.
Okay, grounding and
Yes.
everything.
Even if
Okay.
I step in a little cap here, animal, it's okay. It's nature.
Okay.
I don't
all right.
care.
Not me. I try not to do it
Okay.
unless
you
I
have
am
to.
at the beach.
Okay. So now
I
this
love
is
the
an
beach.
interesting topic I've been coming up with, right? What about at the park? You're at the park, you got a got your blanket out, you're like relaxing in the shade.
Hell yeah.
You take your shoes
Hell
off.
yeah.
She does. You don't.
Yeah.
So only at the beach. Wow.
I always have to feel grounded, you know?
Wow.
'Cause
That's what I feel. But I mean, a lot of people I'm interviewing, they're like, nah, I'm not.
I'm like, nah.
At the park, I'm good. I'm keeping my shoes on. I'm like, okay.
I can see her doing that, but no.
I'm just a weirdo.
That's not me. I'm the opposite of that.
okay.
Okay.
It's
All
all
right.
good.
So now, can we see what your feet look like?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
Are you cool with that?
I got nails
That's
on.
weird.
That's weird. Why is it weird?
I've never been asked to be seeing my feet before.
Okay.
I just feel like, I don't know.
Let me give you a little psychology behind
Already
why I started my
untied.
YouTube channel. Okay, before you even get started, though.
Okay.
So let me give you a little bit of background, right? So my YouTube channel started because I was watching another guy's channel during quarantine, right? And he was talking about this mental health term that deals with like living in the moment, right? A lot of times, people, including myself, you'll overthink the situation, right? So you're presented with a situation and you're like, you think about all the bad things that have happened in the past or future things that could happen, right? And realistically, none of those things are actually like gonna happen. It's just things that you're creating, scenarios you're creating, right? So it's supposed to be all about you like pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, right? To see what happens on the other side, right? To see like how the moment goes, to just enjoy the moment that you're in during that time, right? So I had an interesting concept. I was like, okay, let me see if I can marry that together with the subject of feet. A lot of people are weirded out by it. They have negative connotations attached to it. They feel like, you know, if someone's interested in something like that, it's weird, right? Yeah. So I wanted to like normalize the conversation around it through the interviews that I'm having, like to get like responses from the different women I go out and interview to see like how it goes and things like that. So that's what my channel's all about. So
I get it. Yeah, okay. That's good.
What about for you? Because you were like,
I just feel like
that's super weird.
I just
Past this time.
I feel like so many girls are so insecure about how they look, and like they don't understand that like we look like that too, and like you should normalize it. Absolutely. Like body hair is cool. Like don't feel weird if you have like body hair somewhere. Yeah. Or like I don't know, you got like I don't know, extra rolls. Like it's okay, I got that too. Everyone does. Like
everybody's building different shapes, sizes.
Exactly, and it's beautiful. If we all look the same, that'd be freaking like get me out of here.
Not only that, but I think that like beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? So just because somebody else doesn't find an attraction to it doesn't mean everybody won't find an attraction to it. Like so that's like I'm trying to like promote more of the positivity around it through my conversations. Right?
I just feel like I don't know if showing my feet would help some girl out there feel better about her foot, or to not be like I don't know insecure. I would just want to help anyone. Right, so if that's what it takes, I don't care.
All right, cool. So
I'm not shy.
We'll go ahead here. You're good. You're like,
gonna see my fuzzy sock, and I don't give a shit.
Okay, fuzzy socks. All right.
Damn, you got a toe.
Can I get you to take them both off, and then let me have you place them over here. What size shoe do you wear? Because you got these.
Wait, what time do we have to go back though?
Now.
Really?
Right now. It's only a couple more minutes.
Okay, I'll keep this one on. How about that?
Cool. Let's put this one on. Okay.
Can I do a dance?
Huh? You want to? She's gonna dance. Tap it all. I love it. I love it. All right. So, if you come back real quick, let's wrap it up real quick.
Oh.
I wanted to talk a little bit about reflexology too. So, just in case you didn't know, because you said you didn't really know much about reflexology.
I do.
Okay,
what?
Cool. Come back here.
I love it.
Get back close here. So reflexology is all about the different pressure points, right? You guys have in your hands and your feet.
Yes.
Those pressure points correlate and connect to different parts of your body, right? So through massage, like you were talking about, right? Through acupuncture, through acupressure, you can actually alleviate stress and tension. So let's say that you're someone who deals with migraines. There's a portion of your foot to massage that can alleviate tension that you feel during those moments of migraines, right? If you are congested, your lungs are congested, like during the time you're sick, there's another portion you can massage.
You can like massage your heart too, with like touching like a certain part of your foot.
Your ears
it's all your lungs areas, too. Right? Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that?
I love it, and I always do it because I feel like spiritually connected in some way.
Yeah, I believe it.
I believe it too.
I think it's all connected, and like you know, if you touch one part of your leg, it'll trigger another part of your body.
Trigger something, you know, and it actually I feel like it helps.
Yeah, so that's what my channel kind of deals with, like marrying all three of those things together, and like trying to like provide information to people who might not know about that. So thank you guys so much. The last thing I asked, so first of all, about my approach when I came up, was it good? Was it bad? What were your thoughts about my approach?
I was just thinking about how I nearly died.
Yeah, you did say you almost fell over. You almost took a tumble.
I was so happy and excited about the music that she was playing for me that my excitement nearly took me down.
Interesting. Yeah, well, you picked some dope music then.
Yeah, I'll take that as a compliment.
So when I saw you, I was like, "What is up? Like, let's do this." I just nearly died. Let's do it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You know, you told me what you're like, what you were here for,
the points and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
In terms of the interview as a whole, from start to finish, did you see how everything was going along in the line?
Yeah.
Did it make sense to you? Did you learn anything new?
I learned to not be afraid to show my feet and not to be shy.
And it's not just so much about just that, right? It's more about living in the moment. And
exactly.
Just like we never know what we're going to be presented with on a daily basis. And sometimes just overthinking it and being like, oh, well, I'm going to do it. What are you going to do every time that situation comes about and it's like pushing you out of your comfort zone? You can't always run away. So
love yourself.
It's more about
accept yourself.
Last thing, okay, you're already going there before I get to it. But last thing I'll ask, from a mental health standpoint, maybe a life lesson you learned, some wise words somebody shared with you that you can share with my channel.
Love yourself, accept yourself, eat the healthy foods, eat the junk, do it because you live once. And just love yourself and love every animal, damn it! Every fucking reptile, everything. Preach. Love the flowers, love the trees, kiss the fucking ground. But not if it's dirty, because you don't want to get corona.
Yeah, there you go.
But at least, if you've never eaten a fucking rose petal, are you living your life? Because I ate one not so long ago.
Love that.
But not swallowed, I spit it out.
What about for you?
Just take care of yourself.
Okay.
You know, and take care of the people around you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Be more aware. And I don't know if people have ever actually told me that. Someone ever told me that, or maybe yes, but.
Okay. Dope.
That's my standpoint.
Live once.
Love it. Thank you, ladies, so much. Appreciate you guys going through the interview. We hope that you both have a great one. Okay.
You too.
All right. So hi, how are you two doing today?
We're good. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. How did we just meet today? Well, first of all, I met you first, right?
Yes. I was getting out of my car, trying to set up my picnic, and you came up to me and said, "Can I interview you for my YouTube channel and talk about feet and mental health?"
Absolutely. And one other one.
And I forget.
Reflexology.
Reflexology.
Absolutely. So now you kind of said yes.
Yes.
And you told me the reasoning was because, first of all, I'm wearing a very nice outfit today, right? And also because I got somebody else coming along. You kind of signed her up before she even knew she was signed up for it.
Well, because I said I don't like being on camera.
Absolutely.
But you caught me in a good outfit and not alone.
Absolutely. And so you just got signed on.
And
and you're going with the flow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here.
That's so
doing
dope.
it, I guess.
Absolutely. Okay, so today, like I said, we're going to ask you some questions. So first of all, I'd like to know, what were your thoughts when you heard the word feet? What immediately goes through your mind? First thing you think about?
I was hesitant to talk to a man I didn't know about feet because it immediately gave me weird vibes.
Weird vibes.
Like foot fetish vibes. I don't know why you would bring up feet to a stranger. I guess.
Got it. So you thought about that immediately. That's what went through your mind. You were an uncomfortable topic for you.
A weird one.
Uncomfortable topic for you. What about you? When you heard what it was?
Yeah, I thought about, did you watch Nickelodeon as a kid?
Nickelodeon?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I thought about Dan Schneider, who used to take videos
of
those children.
Okay, so both negative things.
So you guys are both in the same realm in terms of what
I think
about.
generally if a man comes up to me and asks me about feet, I'm going to assume it's in a creepy way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the time, just from my experience. Yeah.
Got it. No, it's all good. It's all good. I want you guys to be honest. That's why I said I wanted it to be impromptu. I don't want to give too much away. I want you guys to answer however you feel. So I'm going to ask some questions today. It'll be about feet and let's see what you guys' thoughts are. Just feel free to answer however you like, okay? Mental health. You hear that term, what do you think about?
I think of caring for one's self in a way that is more than just the physical body, that is internal and taking care of the way that you feel on the inside.
Got it.
That was a really well-worded
That was
answer.
real well, yeah, absolutely.
I will agree with that.
Okay.
I guess when I hear it, I just think it's something that should be talked about more because I think sometimes it's still a taboo topic.
I see. Okay.
And it's not emphasized as important as it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. So today we're going to talk a little bit about social media, impacts it can have on depression and anxiety. So I'll ask you guys some questions. I'd like to get your thoughts once we get there. Sound good?
Sure.
All right. And lastly, reflexology. Ever heard of it? Does it sound familiar? Any knowledge about it before we started talking?
It sounds, I don't know at all, but it sounds kind of like acupuncture in a way, because it's like testing a reflex, and it's like,
okay, you're on the right track.
And some kind of therapeutic thing that tests reflexes.
You are on the right track.
Yeah, my first thought was, when you have your knee hit at the doctor's office.
And
then it goes up.
Checking those reflexes, absolutely. And that's actually neurological too, right? So all these different like muscle groups, tendons are connected to our brains in some way. So yeah, I'm gonna give you some information about reflexology. It'll be a little bit more in depth. You can tell me what your thoughts are once we get there, okay? All right, so first question, okay, and we'll kind of do like a back and forth, right? First question, what are your thoughts about how the world is starting to become more aware of mental health and what we're starting to do about it? What are your thoughts about that?
You want to go first?
Good. I think it's good that we're becoming more aware. I still think a lot of resources are inaccessible to a lot of people.
Yes.
I guess it's a good first step that we're talking about it, though.
Yeah, and I think it's still more work that needs to be done, right?
Oh, for sure.
It's a good start in terms of where we're going, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about it?
I definitely agree. I think it's really a positive thing. I'm tired of seeing it in the mainstream media only used as a way of promoting we should have guns and stuff like that. Like, he's a shooter because he has mental health. Well, you don't care about mental health until it's used to protect your issues. So I think sometimes a lot when it's addressed in the mainstream media, it's like only as a way to scapegoat another issue. So like,
it's actually really true. Yeah.
So obviously I'm very happy that it's being talked about more, but I just hope it's being talked about in the right lens.
Absolutely.
That's a good point. I think some shows also romanticize it a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or like the aesthetic of being like
that people
sad.
have like these issues and like they're like flawed individuals. Absolutely. In terms of social media, right? First of all, what are your thoughts about social media, and then how do you use social media yourself?
I think social media can be used as a very powerful thing for good. I have seen a lot of good come out of social media, and a lot of good ways of like connecting and communicating with people that are like very different in different different areas of the world and different aspects of life, But I think, especially for young kids, it can really affect the mind and the way that they view themselves. Just seeing so much information at once.
Once, yeah. I think that's the biggest thing, like you just said, at one time. I think it's different, like when I think, like, let me see, like maybe like 10 years ago, like a lot of stuff wasn't so accessible. So now we can like at the touch of a button, like type something in, and it's pretty much right there, information that you need. So actually, really sad.
Yeah.
What about for you?
I have such mixed feelings about social media. I think it's hard to be on any platform for a while and not see like the negative sides of it, or like at least when I'm scrolling for too long, I'll start comparing myself to other people's pictures I see, and I'll feel bad about myself. You'll just see a lot of like hateful messaging. Yeah. But it's also a great way to like stay in touch with people.
Yeah.
Or it's nice to see what other people are doing when you're far away from them.
Absolutely.
Like no matter how much I say I don't like it sometimes, I know like I will never get off of it.
Yeah, there's some positives still there.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of, from what I'm seeing, a lot of mental health initiatives, right?
Absolutely.
In terms of like, you see people who are using it as a platform to like, talk to other people and like maybe like do like self-affirmations to help people like learn to like connect with like self-love and things like that. So I think there's definitely like a lot of positive, but depending on how you use it, right?
I think the most beneficial thing I've seen so far is the aspect it's had for like the queer community. Just because like for a lot of like young queer kids growing up in like very like non-accepting places, like sometimes seeing a person on an app who's like you is like the only chance you'll get to ever meet another gay person or anyone like you, and that can be so like rewarding and fulfilling for someone. So I think that is definitely a really big positive of social media.
I think that's a great thing to say, especially like it's Pride Month right now, right? I'm glad to see that at my job. Like we're really like trying to promote like as much awareness around that as possible, like letting people know like, hey, you be who you are, and just everybody supporting it. So I definitely think that that's great. Okay, here's a follow-up question to what I just asked. Let's say somebody came to you, gave you the power to change something about social media. Is there anything you would change, or do you think that it's fine the way it is?
Yes, I would change like people's ability to like Photoshop and airbrush pictures.
Nice.
Or at least without, like if you want to, that's fine. That's cool. But like I wish it would say like this is not natural. Yeah.
You're not the first woman who said that. Like she's like almost like a Surgeon General's warning on there, like, hey, this is a filtered picture. Like, absolutely. What do you think?
I have to agree.
Agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely.
100%.
Nice. In terms of anxiety, right? Is there anything that brings you anxiety? And if so, like when you start to feel anxiety, what do you do to counteract those like emotions?
Just in regards to social media, or just in general?
In general, in life. And you don't have to go too in depth. Maybe more surface level things. Like for me, like huge crowds, right? Being in like a small place and like having a huge crowd makes me feel really uncomfortable. So like, hopefully like being in an open space or being around less people like makes me feel a little bit better.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to go?
Like that's such a broad question.
Yeah.
I guess my self-care things I do. I like to be outside.
Nice.
I like to read. I like to paint. I think I'm losing your original question. What do I do like in a moment to like calm me down if I'm being stressed in like a specific moment?
So like if you deal with like anxiety, what do you do to counteract that? Yeah.
I guess if I'm in a moment that is making me anxious, I would go outside and distance myself from it.
Yeah.
Talk to one of my friends. Probably not go on social media.
Yeah, that can probably make it worse, right? Absolutely. And it was actually interesting because as we were standing here, I think you were getting a little anxious because you were like,
oh, I started rambling.
No. I think that you were just trying to like figure out like, okay, what exactly is happening here? Like, what are my thoughts about it? And like you were like really like asking questions like, let me make sure. Like, what's happening here? You were starting to second guess it, right? You were like, you're like, I don't know if I should. So. Definitely noticed that. Absolutely. What about for you?
Yeah, I would have to agree with like trying to distance myself from that situation. Take some deep breaths, and I do like this counting thing to like calm myself down. A lot of people have different like meditation.
Yeah, what do you count to? Because mine's is 5.
Yeah, I do. I count to 8.
8,
and then
okay.
you hold for 5. You hold your breath for 5, and then yeah. So that's what I do, and that helps sometimes.
Let's go.
Also, medication helps.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Yeah, I think
I misunderstood your question. Yeah,
there
she answered it better.
Nice.
No, you answered.
Okay, so here's some questions I'm gonna ask you, and I'll be intrigued to see how you ladies feel about these. What are your thoughts about your feet? How do you feel about it? It was a scoff I just got there.
About my feet.
Yep.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
I guess I don't really think about my feet.
Don't think about your feet.
I know I don't want to show them on social media because I know people will do weird shit with them.
Okay.
So
Got it. So
don't get my feet in the shop.
I'm trying my best not to. Absolutely. What about here? What do we feel? What do you feel?
Okay, actually, I'm kind of glad you asked me this. There's a lot of things about myself where I'm like, oh, I would change that if I could, but I always feel like I've had kind of like nice feet.
Okay, so
and I feel like if
the one
I
insecurity you don't
them,
have. Interesting.
I mean, I'm not gonna take them out now, but like it could be worse. I think
they could be worse. Something.
They're kind of a big size though, actually, like for women's feet. They're like a 7.5 or 8.
Wait, what? No, it's like proportionate with your height, right? You're like 5.
Mine are
4,
9.
5'5".
5'5".
Yeah.
You're taller than me.
Yeah,
you're taller. You're about 5'8".
I'm 5'9".
5'9". So yeah, I mean proportionate with your height. I mean, I think if you were like walking around with like size 10s and like 5'5", maybe that would be a little bit more. Yeah, you're right where you need to be.
Oh, so then I'm back to
you're good.
promoting my feet.
There you go.
Yeah.
So let me ask you ladies this: have you ever received any compliments about your feet before? Anybody ever said, "Hey, you have nice feet," or maybe you had your toes done and somebody said, "Hey, I really like that cut." Ever heard it before?
I don't think I take my feet out enough to get compliments because I don't really like wearing open-toed shoes.
Got it. So you're more of a sneaker type person?
Yeah.
Got it. And then
I mean, I'm clearly wearing open-toed shoes right now.
Oh.
I usually don't in regards to her. Like, same as her.
Got it.
Maybe someone's complimented, like, my toenail polish before or something like that. But I don't think anyone's ever been like, those are some nice feeties you got there. So, I don't think I've ever got, I mean, yeah.
Interesting. So let me ask you this, right? Because you guys both just said, like, I don't take my feet out enough, so I never received that compliment before. If somebody did, let's say it's a rare occasion, you're wearing like open-toed shoes, you pass somebody's path and they say, hey, you have really nice feet. What are you thinking right there? Like, what's the emotion? How are you feeling about it?
I need to run.
I need to run. Wow.
I think it like depends who's
this
coming
is such
from.
extreme like thoughts. You're like, I need to run. Why are we running?
I don't know. It's just like I feel like the feet is just like you're really looking for
Interesting.
something. You're really if you're into like if you are complimenting my feet, you're really looking at my feet because I feel like that's not the first.
You
thing
feel the same way?
it's like not the first thing you notice in a person. Like even
I'm
if I'm like
understanding.
they have
You're
some
understanding
good
what she's saying.
feet, like
Yeah.
well sized and looking clean. I don't know.
Okay.
But like that's not like the first thing I notice in a person. Like more like the hair, the eyes, smile.
True.
Anything else?
I have a follow-up for you since
Okay.
she answers. Because what was your answer?
I think it depends who the compliment is coming from. If
Okay.
it's from like another girl and her feet are also out maybe and she has really nice feet, then I feel like she would just be recognizing like mutual.
Yeah.
But
so
if it
mutual
was
respect.
like a guy,
Mhm.
again, who I like didn't know, I think I would take it in a really weird way.
In a really weird way. Okay. So let me ask you this, because you kind of said you think that the person is really looking like if they're complimenting you on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you think that that compliment is different than if somebody like walks up and says, "Hey, you have nice hair. I think you have nice eyes." Like,
I mean,
you know,
going back to what she said, it depends.
Yeah.
How it's said, I take that with any like compliment that someone comes up and
Okay.
gives you on the street.
so it's any compliment for you that would
Yeah,
like,
I think the
take it with a
feet
grain of
would,
salt.
the feet would jar me more, just
Okay.
because I think
Yeah.
like
So is it because it's a more uncommon comment,
I
or
think
because
yeah, I think it's a little bit.
it's a part of the body, right? This is what I'm trying to get to, right?
Yeah,
Part of the body. It's no different than any other body part you have. If I walk up and say you have nice eyes, I'm still like looking
at my eyes.
at your eyes, right? Actively, right?
Yeah, and I think that makes total sense. I
Yeah.
think I'm just not used to hearing
That's what I'm saying. So it's
that
uncommon
it's
for you, so you don't
a thing
really,
that people are interested.
yeah,
in.
you don't have
Yeah.
a reference point to it, and so for you, it's like
Yeah.
it comes across as being something that's new, right?
Mhm.
I got it. Same here.
I guess I would be like curious what makes good feet, like
Yeah.
why you would compliment them.
Yeah, I think so. Like I always like say when I go out and do this, right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? We find what we find attractive, right? And sometimes other people might not find the same thing that you find to be attractive as well, right?
Mhm.
But we're all different, so I think that's what kind of like brings attractiveness for others, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of other questions, in terms of if somebody's giving you a compliment, right? And it's like, let's just be broad with it, any compliment, right?
Mhm.
Is there a certain compliment you prefer to receive over others, where it's like, if I get that compliment, that makes me feel the best?
For me, I would, if you're gonna give me a compliment, like yell one out to me on the street, I would prefer it not be something about my physical appearance, to be honest. Either like, you just look so happy today, or like, you seem really positive, I hope you have a great day, like
Nice.
something like that. Just
Yeah.
because when I feel like when I don't necessarily think it's catcalling when you say a compliment to someone, but when compliments are just hurled at you like from a distance, you kind of just feel like
It makes you feel. I've gotten catcalled by women too, and like I'm gonna tell you right now, it is like one of those things that makes you feel like, okay, in this moment right now, what's really happening? So I get it. Like I totally understand that. So what about here? How do you feel about it?
I think like compliments on like your personality and who you are always better, but if someone's on the street, they don't know that.
Yeah.
I guess I like when people compliment my clothes because that's something I like actively picked out.
Yeah. What about
It
your
really
hair?
depends
Because
who
like
it's coming-
I
Oh,
think
my
your hair is like something that like stands out immediately, right? When you notice, or like in a crowd or something like that, your hair would stand out, right? It's curly and it's red.
I do get a lot of comments on my hair.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Sometimes they're compliments, which are always nice, but sometimes they're just comments. Where I don't know. I guess you could take it good or bad. Or a lot of people tell me I look like the Disney cartoon girl, the Brave. Yeah, Brave.
Oh, from Brave. Oh, okay.
I get that a lot.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Which are just like an observation, I guess, not a compliment. But.
Yeah, that's true. In terms of if you're dating someone or going to start dating someone, right? What is something you would consider to be a potential deal breaker and a potential partner?
Oh my
Something where
gosh.
you're like, absolutely not.
Um,
This is interesting because it's first date, so you're gonna be giving out information here.
Okay.
Maybe don't give me all the ammo. Just give me something small. Like,
a deal breaker.
deal breaker.
Okay.
I don't know. Like when I first meet someone, an immediate deal breaker, I guess just someone who's rude. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Like if it's not a good back and forth conversation, only talking about themselves.
I think that one's key to me. Like if it's not good dialogue, if I'm feeling like I have to carry the conversation and there's not nothing going back and forth, then it's like what's the point?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What about for you?
I mean, I agree. I was gonna say rude, but like if we're out to dinner and they don't tip or something like that, or they're rude to the wait staff.
There you go.
That's a
yeah.
good
I hear
one.
that one a lot.
Yeah.
Like you cannot be rude to like people who are like in like the service industry.
Yeah.
Like you definitely need to be showing some like compassion and being kind.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In terms of pedicures, how often do you get pedicures?
I have only ever gotten a pedicure once.
One pedicure?
I think it was for my like 10th birthday because my parents were like, "You're double digits." But I just don't really like strangers touching me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I can understand that. Like it's like one of those things. Like I have to go in here and somebody's gonna like do all these things, and yeah, you probably feel like more comfortable like doing it yourself or like doing your own self-care. Absolutely. What about you?
I'd have to agree. I was a dancer for a long time, so every time I would go get a pedicure, they would like try to remove my calluses on my feet.
You need those.
I need those for dance.
Yeah.
So I just didn't do it. And when I dance, you just get ruined immediately. So like.
That's true.
Yeah, I just didn't go for a while. I'll go like once in a while for an occasion, but most of the time
Special
I'm just like,
occasions,
no.
Got it. Have you ever heard of a medical pedicure before?
No.
Never. Okay.
No.
Medical pedicures are when you go see a podiatrist, specialist of the foot.
Okay.
They take a look at your feet, like they'll look at your toe alignment, make sure it's right. They check your toenails to make sure they grow correctly. They will check your feet for dead skin, fungus, do all the work there with like medical grade equipment. What would your thoughts be on seeing somebody like that as opposed to going to like somebody who's just doing cosmetics?
I guess that could be cool because that's something I can't do myself.
There it is.
Well, now I feel like I should have been going to that doctor this whole time.
Yeah, especially
like a
if you're
dentist or
dancing.
something.
Yeah. I always tell people that it's like going to a dentist, but like this is for your feet. They give you insight into like what's going on with your feet, what's the proper type of lotion to use if you have dry feet, things like that. It's really helpful. Absolutely. In terms of shoes, how often you wear open toe shoes? You said hardly ever. You don't really show your feet off. And then for you,
I would agree. I also, this is sometimes a trigger for people. I wear socks to bed.
I also wear socks to bed.
Okay.
Yes. I love it.
And I get bullied for
I love
that.
the energy. I think some people do find it to be
bullied
weird.
for that too.
Yeah.
I think that it's open to like whatever you like. If that's something that makes you comfortable.
I like having warm feet. My
there you go.
It's like typically cold, so like but I prefer to keep like socks or shoes on, I guess.
Got it.
If I'm gonna be like barefoot or open toed, I want to be outside. I think.
That makes sense.
Yes, I'm
Same
from
here.
a like colder environment.
Yeah.
So I don't usually have enough like warm weather to buy a lot of open-toed shoes. But the like specific time I like to be barefoot if it's like damp grass.
Damp
or
grass.
outside at like a barbecue or something.
Oh yeah.
I feel like you're taking notes over here. You're like damp grass.
Damp
Okay,
grass.
got it. In terms of like going barefoot, how often do you do that? I mean, and I'm just saying in general.
In June?
In general, yeah.
Oh.
In June? Oh, I mean, it's June right now.
It depends on the weather.
Okay.
I guess I've been barefoot more recently.
Okay. And what I mean by that too, like, so have you guys ever heard of earthing and grounding?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And that's why you mentioned
Putting my feet on like the
and damp grass, right?
Yes.
So like, have you heard of it before?
No, but
Okay.
I think I can know what it means, but
Okay.
you can explain it to me.
Oh, got it. She's like, I think I know what it means, but go ahead.
Yeah.
So earthing and grounding is like when you go outside in grass, dirt, sand, you just let your feet like kind of just like touch the grass, dirt, sand. And it's almost like a meditating type thing that you're doing.
Okay.
You're letting yourself be like rooted and grounded, just like
Okay.
letting yourself feel like that whole experience, right? I've heard that like it's something that really like can like unclog mental space. Like if you maybe had a long day at work, just going outside and kind of doing that 10-15 minutes really makes a big difference. Have you experienced that with your experiences in doing it? Like, does it really like make a difference for you?
Yes. You made me change my answer. I either like to wear closed-toed shoes or no shoes,
Sure.
but not in between. Like I'd rather be barefoot.
All or nothing.
Yes.
All or nothing. I love that.
Yes.
Okay. Absolutely. All right. So now, okay, and this is a question I ask through all my interviews. I'm going to share my YouTube channel with you guys so that you guys can see it. There's a reason I'm asking this. Can we see what your feet look like?
Not for free.
Not for free.
No, not for free. I love the fact that we said not for free. Interesting. All right.
Sorry.
So why not?
Because
You
I'm
said
trying to make
already.
money.
You said already. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me give you guys kind of like the mental health background of why I started my channel and kind of like why I'm asking these questions and things like that. So during quarantine, I was like actually watching another guy's channel, right? He was talking about exposure therapy. Have you ever heard of that before? Okay. So like exposure therapy is for people who tend to like feel uncomfortable with like making decisions, right? So like you're presented with a situation, you think about all these different things that are happening, and in reality, a lot of the things you think about are things your mind is constructing to like prevent you from like moving forward, right? So like, for example, for me, a lot of times it was like going up and talking to a pretty girl, right? And it's like in my mind, you know, if I approach her and I ask her out, she might say no, she may freak out, I'm gonna get embarrassed in front of all these people, but in reality, I don't know what's gonna happen until I actually go up and like approach, see what's gonna happen, right? So when I heard about that, I was like, okay, really dope concept. I haven't actually lived like that throughout my life, so I want to go out and start a YouTube channel asking these questions, because a lot of people feel uncomfortable. I can tell by when I was asking you guys questions, there was some uncomfortability there where like, I don't know why these questions are being asked, but anyway, so that there's some people who feel uncomfortable. They think that like, you know, it's weird, it's a taboo. I want to get those reactions, right? Also, I want to go out and like use these different reactions that I get to like basically show that there's some people who are like completely open. Like if you watch my channel, there's some women who I approach, no thoughts. Like they don't really think about anything. Some women who are like in between, they don't really know what to think. And then I get some women who are like, no, absolutely not. But the whole point is for me to show what those reactions are, so that for people who are like, may have an interest in something, that's an attractive feature for them, right? They can start to feel comfortable expressing that to others without feeling like they're gonna be judged or like people are gonna look down on me. They'll see that there's different reactions that you'll get from that. So the whole point of my channel is to like normalize the conversation around feet, like make it more of a positive thing as opposed to it being something that's weird.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you have like a thing for feet?
I have an appreciation for it.
Okay.
So like, yeah, for me, it's like, I like it. And I asked this on Sunday. I interviewed 2 women and they were asking me, they were like, so for you, is it like a deal breaker if a woman doesn't have good looking feet? And I was like, well, absolutely not. So for me, the first thing that we always notice, right? We're gonna see a person's like physical features first, right? You don't usually see a person's feet first. That's the absolute first thing, right? So for me, it's like initial attraction, right? Do we both have an attraction for each other? After that, like what I want to see is like, can we hold a conversation, kind of like what you said? Does the conversation go naturally? Can we like get along? Like, do we have common goals, things like that? If she has nice feet, then that's icing on the cake for me. It's not something that's like all or nothing. It's like more of a plus for me, right?
I guess we all have our things like that.
Yeah, because some people like, I've gone to interview women. Some women are like, the first thing they know is teeth, like, right? They like, I'm into teeth, or I'm into guys who have nice smiles, or you know, whatever it is. Everybody has something, right? So it's the whole point of my channel, to try to like bring some positivity to something that most people may see as weird or a taboo or something. What are your thoughts about that? Trying to bring.
Can I ask you why you only interview women?
I'm sorry?
Why do you only interview women?
So, because I'm a guy, right? So I'm interviewing women because it's from my perspective, right?
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like, so yeah, I mean, in terms of me going out and interviewing guys about this, like, it really makes sense because, like I said, I'm a guy who.
So it's for your exposure therapy, kind of.
Exactly.
Okay,
So by me going out and doing this, I'm showing that, like, I'm somebody who can go out and I can talk to these different women and see what the reaction is going to be. No matter what, live with that reaction.
Cool, yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah. Good
What are your
for
thoughts
you.
about that? Like, how, like, the channel is set up and everything?
I think that's really interesting, and I think that's really cool to put yourself out there and do, and I think that's awesome.
Sweet,
Yeah.
sweet. So that's why I kind of like, if you notice the way the interview is going, we ask these different questions, and like the mental health side of it is the exposure therapy. Like to see if the person can continue to be comfortable without like giving thought to anything negative or anything like that. Absolutely. So let's talk about reflexology. I'll let you guys go. I know you got your date going. So reflexology deals with the different pressure points, and you kind of talked about it with acupuncture, right? So different pressure points we have in our hands and our feet, right? Those pressure points are actually connected to different parts of your body. So like, for example, through massage, through acupuncture, through acupressure, you can actually alleviate stress and tension to various parts of your body, right? So there's actually like, let's say for example, you're somebody who deals with migraines, right? There's a portion of your hands and your feet you can massage that will alleviate the tension that you feel in those moments. Also a piercing you can get in your ear that does the exact same thing. So
That's cool.
What are your thoughts about reflexology, what it can do for you from a more holistic standpoint, like kind of leaving you from taking medicines and things like that? What are your thoughts?
I think that's really interesting, and I think I'd definitely be willing to give it a try. I'm a proponent of mixing holistic medicine with modern medicine.
Yeah.
So I think mixing the two together and having a healthy balance is definitely beneficial. I think there are definitely things we can learn from that.
Yeah.
And like, totally.
And it's still more of an Eastern, it's more Eastern.
Yeah.
Like we're still like learning about it here. But you'll see like in a lot of places that you go to, like especially if you go to like massage places, you know, you'll see a lot of those like charts and stuff up there that like, it's almost like a map of the body, right? You touch this spot, it connects to here. So that's really dope. What about for you? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I agree. I
Nice.
think like natural medicine is so interesting. I've always wanted to try acupuncture, and I just think it's really cool when people can mix like different teas or home remedies But I hesitate to say that because I don't want people to think I'm like anti-vax.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
There's like an important balance.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Okay. So let's wrap up the interview now. All right. In terms of my approach, first of all, I approached you first. You didn't really. The approach was more her approach to you, right? But in terms of my approach to you, was it good? Was it bad? What were your thoughts about my approach when I initially came up?
Yeah, you were really friendly. You were nice. You you didn't like startle me. You didn't get really close to me.
Yeah. I always try to keep my distance just because like going out and doing this, I'm approaching women, so I want to make sure that like I'm not coming across as like intimidating or anything like that.
No, I felt safe.
Absolutely. In terms of the interview from start to finish, right? Did you see how everything was going in the line? Did it make sense? Did you learn anything new from the information I provided?
I think I definitely learned some new things. I guess I never really thought about feet that much, to be honest. So
yeah, and what I kind of thought, like the reason why my channel is way is, right? I always think about the LGBTQ community, right? In terms of like for a long time, like a lot of people were ostracized for like believing what you believe in, right? The same thing for my channel. Like a lot of people who may like feet or be attracted to that are like ostracized and like considered to be weird for liking something. But it's like, what is the difference if I like this or if I'm into hair or if I'm into like what's the difference? There's really no difference. So I'm trying to bring awareness to that, and like through my channel, my interactions, hopefully with people who are like open-minded, I can show that. So
yeah, totally.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts? How was the interview?
I think it was nice. It was a good interview. I like that it was like a back and forth.
Yeah.
You also added to
That's
the
why it's called Soulful Discussions.
Yeah.
That's
Yes, I like the name. I like puns.
Absolutely.
I like the too.
Well, you were second guessing when I said the pun. You were like, oh, I don't know about puns. Like sometimes I don't.
Well, I liked it, but I guess I didn't know it was always about feet.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a strong dedication to a pun if this is the only foot episode.
Absolutely. The last thing I always ask, right, from a mental health standpoint, a life lesson that maybe you learned, wise words that maybe somebody shared with you that you can share on my channel that could be helpful. It could be anything. Don't overthink it. Just whatever comes to mind.
A sentence that I try to live by, that me and my sisters will always tell each other, is like progress isn't linear. So one bad day doesn't mean you're kind of on like a bad path again. Yeah. You could take a step back, but you're still moving forward.
I like that. Down focusing. Absolutely. I love that. What about for you?
Honestly, really similar stuff to that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'd say probably like it's okay to have bad days and it's okay to have good days, but like as long as you're finding the happiness and joy out of life, you're living a good life.
It's okay to not be okay. Absolutely. Thank you, ladies, so much. Definitely appreciate you both like stopping to do this interview. I know you got dragged into it, but still, thank you anyway for coming along.
Of course.
Appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys have an enjoyable first day.
Thank you. I'm excited to see this video.
Absolutely. All right, so hi, how you ladies doing today?
Hello.
Great.
How are you? So how did we just meet right now? How did I just run into you guys?
You was like, yo, can I get an interview? And I was like, yeah, you can.
Absolutely. You said yeah, and then you kind of said yeah, and then I told you guys what the interview was about, and then you were like, I'm still on, and you were kind of like,
it's about
I don't know.
feet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got some emotions about feet there. Okay, so let me ask you guys this. First of all, what are we doing this interview about? What are the 3 topics I gave you?
You said feet, mental health, and something else.
Reflexology.
Reflexology. I don't know what that is.
Okay, yep, that's good. I'm gonna give you some information today. Okay, so now you heard feet. Okay, I think you thought about it for a second, but then you were like, whatever. You kind of got kind of stuck for a minute. You were like, I don't know. What were the thoughts that went through your mind when you heard
feet? I was like, this fool lacks some feet.
That's what you thought?
It got like sexual. Instantly. Like every time I think feet, I'm like, oh, yeah, a kinky thing. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so today we're gonna ask you some questions about feet. It'll be your thoughts, how you feel about it. Okay, so once we get there, answer however you like. Okay. Okay. Mental health. You hear that? What do you think about it?
Very important.
Very important. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. Today we're gonna talk a little bit about social media, the impacts it can have on depression and anxiety. So we'd love to get your thoughts about that, like once we get there. Okay. Lastly, reflexology. You said, what is that? Do you have any idea what it is? You ever heard it before?
I know what reflexes are.
Okay.
So something like that, right? When like the doctor does it. Yeah. Yeah. I think it is.
So we're gonna give you some information today, and then you can tell me like once I give it to you, what's the thought process after that? Okay. Cool. You guys ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So first question, and we'll kind of do like a back and forth type thing. Okay. So first question, what are your thoughts about how the world's starting to become more aware of mental health and what we're starting to do about it? How do you feel about that?
It's super important, especially with like the age now of social media and all that stuff, and just like facades, and you don't even know what's real or not, and fake news and all that stuff. So that's like a contributor to it.
there's so many thoughts in the world. We're overstimulated, I feel. So I feel like we just gotta like humble ourselves, go back to day one, kind of like our hunters and gatherers, just kind of like be what the world intended for us to be.
I like that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Mental health, yeah, like it's very important. I feel like it was something that was not addressed. I'm first generation, so it's like it's not something that's brought up often. So it's just like as an adult finding out I have ADHD made sense as to why, like, oh, okay, this is why that happened. It's not that like I always knew I was so smart because I am. Don't get me wrong. But it's just like, please don't make me sit down and do this homework because I will not. I just will not. But it's just more so awareness and being able to work through it and understanding of like why I was the way I was. You know, it wasn't like because I was a shitty person. It was just the circumstances I was under. But I keep growing through that, you know, and like.
So you're starting to like uncover new layers and discover new things about yourself.
And how like what works best for me. You know, like I always keep a small journal on me, and that helps me keep my thoughts in order. You know,
I think that's important.
It's just it gives me the tools to like move forward with it. You know.
Absolutely. In terms of social media, right? First of all, what are your thoughts about it, and then how do you use it yourself?
Okay,
We were just talking about this actually. Like we use our social media kind of like a diary.
Like our lives, we can just post what we want to post and like what reflects in the moment, that what happened in that moment, you know.
Okay.
But you know, social media could be used a different way, like the influencers and all that. But it's kind of like fake in a way. You know, it's kind of fake. It's like they're getting paid to do that, to look that way, and to be in a certain spot. They're getting paid for that. You know, it's not really reality.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I love social media. It helps me understand myself sometimes because I'll share and then like instantly I'm like, I want to delete this, and then I have to like sit with the truth of it. Like, why do I want to delete it? And I'm like, okay, cool. Let me write about this. You know what I mean? So it's just a tool for me to like teach, like kind of go back into the social world after COVID-2 got really crazy, and it's different now. You know, so it's like most people meet through the internet, and it's like, I don't know, it just taught me a new way to maneuver socially, but like I'm taking my own steps to like still understand who I am in like the present moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think in life is like a journey, right? So it's like you're constantly finding out new things about yourself, like, you know, probably every day, if not every day, at least every year, like you find out like, okay, I learned I can deal with this, or I can't deal with that.
Yeah,
so, we're evolving.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and if you're not, there's a problem.
Yeah,
You're stagnant. Yeah, water is meant to like flow, and so like when it becomes stagnant, man, it's no good.
It's all nasty. Get some mosquitoes.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want that. Absolutely. In terms of social media, right, let's say somebody came to you and said, "Hey, change whatever you like about it." Is there anything that you would change, or do you kind of feel like it's good the way it is?
I think I liked how they changed the likes, that you can hide the likes and all that. Because it's like, it's not about how many people like it. If you like it, that's it. That's all you need.
Absolutely.
That's all you need, you know? So probably like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about for you? Same thing?
Same thing. Yeah, I like, okay, honestly, my favorite part about things updating is that you can add music to your story.
Yeah.
I live in like a movie. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's like, okay, this is exactly
I need my
what I heard.
soundtrack.
Yeah, I'm like, this is what I heard in my head. Like, this is what, you know, it gives you the feel of what I'm going through.
I like that.
So that's my favorite part.
That's dope. That's
I like
dope.
that,
In terms of anxiety, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything that brings you anxiety? And if so, and like, remember, you don't have to go too in depth. We don't need in-depth subjects, maybe more surface level things. If there's anything that gives you anxiety, what do you do when you feel it to like overcome it? Like, how do you overcome it?
You gotta breathe.
I read this book called The Power of Now. So just staying present, doing like realizing I'm here now, and like
there's nothing you can change from the past. The future's not even there. Like you gotta just be here. I kind of see it like a figure eight. You're always in the middle. You're always in there. Like the past is always the past. The words that we just said already passed. Like it's, you know,
it's gone already. It's out there. You gotta live with it. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So now let's get into these questions. I'm gonna be intrigued to see what your thoughts are. How do you ladies feel about your feet? What are
my
your thoughts?
feet, honestly, people said I have cute ass feet.
Okay. So what do you think though? You saying that's what people say.
Yeah, people say I have cute ass feet, and I'm like, I do got cute ass feet.
Okay, so you agree with that? Okay. What about for you? Because you said when you heard the subject of feet, there was some...
I don't have like the prettiest feet, so it's been crazy. It's like been thoughts of like, should I wear these sandals? Like people look at feet now more than ever, so it's like, it's messing with the way I like pick an outfit, which sucks because I love fashion. Okay. And it's like, I don't want people to like look at that instantly.
You know what?
Well, wait. You just said something, right? On our last question, right? Living in the now, right? But like in that situation, you're thinking about all these different things that may happen.
Yeah, so that's like it's like kind of like
is it an insecurity?
It's an insecurity, yeah,
okay.
for sure.
So now here's what I would tell you, right? Because you kind of said that like people are now looking at feet more than ever, right?
Yeah.
Do you not think that was already happening before, and just maybe we weren't hearing about it as much?
Yeah.
Like, so maybe it was happening, and just because you didn't know about it, you didn't think about it. But now that you know about it, it's like now it's thoughts that go in there, right?
Yeah,
that insecurity
but
comes
also
up.
I feel like there's a lot of people that just like are not conscious of their own thoughts. So it's like they're being told, okay, feet matter now. So people that would not have recognized so in the past are now like, you know what, feet do matter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it just adds another bit of pressure onto like what is now the new beauty.
But you know how I feel like the whole pressure thing is like comes from like guys. I think guys are always like, oh, you don't have your nails done, you don't have your feet done, right? So I've always been like, I was like insecure about it too. But now I'm like, oh, well, you want my feet done, you can pay for it. The fuck?
Yeah.
So and that's what I would say, right? Like if you start to date a guy, right?
If you care about so much about my feet, then you can take care of them.
And here's the thing, I think that like if you were to meet a guy who was into that, I think he would take care of that. He would make sure that like you were nice. If you wanted some shoes, he'd probably make sure that you had that. I think those would be positives, right?
I feel like that's a lot with like, especially LA culture. They're just like, oh, you don't have this, you don't have that. Well, then if you want me to give you that, you can. If not, you can walk away. Like for real, I can smack you with these feet.
I love that.
This is true. She's
I really feel this passionately.
I love that. I love the passion. So let me ask you this, right? Have you ladies ever received compliments? You said you have. Okay. Have you ever received compliments about your feet before?
Well, just on like my toenails because I have very like nice toenails.
So you haven't been complimented on your feet, but you've been complimented on your toenails before. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you ladies this. When you receive a compliment about that, how does it make you feel?
Good.
What are your thoughts?
I'm like,
I'm just more so
you
like,
embrace it.
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah, for me it's like, why are you looking at my feet?
Okay, so
yeah,
wow.
like,
so you go so back to the like, why aren't you living in the moment though? Like you said, you have these insecurities, and now somebody's telling you they're nice.
Out. So I feel like I like to put myself in situations where I know, like, how do I put this? Like, I wouldn't put myself in a predicament where I have to constantly remind myself I'm in the moment. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes where I went.
So you want to control the situation.
Yeah, but that's a Taurus.
No, which is okay, right? I think that we all like at times want to like control what happens, but I think the most important thing to learn is that like, right, we can't control everything, right? I can't control what somebody else thinks about me, right? The only thing I can control is like what I do for it. Like somebody says that, hey man, I think you're really mean. Okay, like, am I doing anything that's making me like seem like I'm mean? Okay, like, let me try to change this behavior, you know, so that I don't come across like that, right? That's control for me. I can't control what other people think or anything like that.
You're right. You're right.
I feel like the moment you let go is the moment like the universe actually gives you what you want.
It's like it opens up for you.
Yeah, there's been so many moments that I like try to control the situation or try to like play my cards right, and then like I fumble the bag, but I'm not fumbling shit. Like like once you just let go, like everything that's supposed to be.
It's because you can't force, right? You can't force the things that happen in life. When you try to force it, it doesn't go right. When you just like kind of open up and you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna do the best that I can in terms of what I know that's in my control, and then whatever happens from there happens.
Yeah,
that's what you gotta kind of do.
God might have a different plan for you.
Yeah,
you know? Like,
you never know. Man.
That's true. That's true.
You never know. Yeah, absolutely. So, in terms of compliments you get, right? Not just about feet, but in general, is there a certain compliment that when you get it, you're like, man, that made my day. That makes me feel good.
Yeah, energy. I feel like I get that more than anything.
Okay.
So it's like helping me look past my physical insecurities. But I mean, everything's like a constant like work, you know? I'm just still working at it. Yeah. But energy is the most common compliment that I get and I love, you know?
Yeah, nice. Nice.
I don't know, maybe when I'm just like not thinking about anything and I'm just like being me, and then someone will just randomly be like, oh, you're so gorgeous, or just like something like it's like so unexpected. I'm like, oh, thank you. Like I wasn't even trying. Like thank you.
Nice. I love it. It's like you love compliments in general.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, and I also especially like when like other pretty girls they really say I'm pretty or that I'm gorgeous. I'm like.
That's a big one.
From pretty girls.
That's a big one.
They know what's up.
They know what's up. For real.
So next question, in terms of like say you're dating somebody or going to start dating somebody, right? What is something you would consider to be a potential deal breaker in a potential partner? Something you're like, no thank you.
Can I? Oh, sorry, I be cussing all the time.
You can say no. Go ahead.
If they're like little bitches, I can't do that.
Okay.
Like if a man's a little bitch and I'm more of a man than you, like you need to get the fuck away from me.
So you mean from the aspect of like what he's not like.
Sometimes.
Because I want you to put like put some
sometimes
give some
like here, I'll give you a scenario. Like let's pretend like I'm I'm in someone's house and I'm like asking for things or something, or I'm like, let's pretend we're in the jacuzzi. I'm like, oh, can it be hotter? And they're like, damn, you're asking for too much. Like you're being a little bitch. Like, I mean, this isn't asking for too much at all. Like if I can do it myself, and you can't do it for me, then I don't need you to do it for me, like at all.
Okay, all right. So what about for you?
For me,
Deal breakers.
I guess people that haven't grown in the last 3 years. You know, if you're in the exact same spot you've been in the past, I don't know. It's just like what type of growth, whether it be like inside or on the outside, what's changing, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you got it. Like we said, got to constantly be evolving, right?
Yeah.
Doing something
if
different.
You stay stagnant, like I don't want that energy. You know, it's gonna mess me up. Like I'm gonna get stuck.
We don't like that.
Yeah, we don't like that stuff. Mosquitoes and stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in terms of pedicures, how often do you ladies get pedicures?
It depends, honestly, because I'd be busy as fuck, and that takes a full day. Oh, you all don't even know.
A lot of people do not know that it is a whole full experience, right? Absolutely. What about for you? How often do you get it?
Pretty often, like every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, okay.
Nails, you know.
Nails, get the pedicure too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both at the same
So
time.
you spend that time on the self-care and stuff to make sure,
yeah, because
like,
it feels so good,
absolutely,
you know. And then like I said, it's an insecurity I've worked on, and it's like put me out there before, where it was like, oh, I don't want to go there. I don't want them to look at me, and it's like, you know what? Now they always compliment on like the space they have for my toenails to like paint and do the little design. So
nice.
It always makes me feel good.
That's dope. That's dope. Have you ladies ever heard of a medical pedicure before?
No.
Medical. So that's when you go see a podiatrist, right? Specialist of the foot, right? They take a look at your feet. They make sure like your nails grow correctly. They check your toe alignment to make sure it's right. They check your feet for like dead skin, fungus. They do all the work there with like medical grade equipment, right? What would your thoughts be on seeing somebody like that as opposed to like a cosmetic pedicure?
I feel like I would do that first and then go after to go get it all cute.
So you would do the whole thing. You like, let me go here and then let me go get it like pretty now. I love it.
Yeah, that's definitely something I would look into for sure.
Yeah.
Because I skate a lot, you know, so it's like
it could be helpful. Yeah.
My feet need like a little bit of help, you know. I know it's like how much I beat them up, but it's okay. Like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How often do you ladies wear open toe shoes, sandals, flip flops? You kind of said you think about it with outfits and stuff.
Yeah.
So interesting. How often do you wear?
I kind of just whenever I want.
Okay. So it's more of a feel like the outfit.
If like usually when I go out at night I like little like zapatitas. I don't know how to say zapatitas.
What are those?
I don't know zapatitas.
Like little heels.
Yeah, but they're like little chanclitas. Or like,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So not like really like long
not
heels.
Like just like their little like sandal heel kind of things.
Okay.
And I always wear those all the time going out.
Okay.
And even if my toes aren't good, I don't care.
Nice. I like your confidence, man. So we need to add a little bit over here, like give you a little bit of that, and then she needs to take a little bit of yours too, like match it up, and then you guys be right in the middle. How often do you ladies go barefoot, no shoes, like just?
Oh, I could be barefoot anywhere.
Often.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever heard of earthing and grounding before?
Yeah.
Nice.
Definitely.
Okay.
Taurus and Libra.
There it is. Nice. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So and balance for you, right? The scales and everything, and then for you, earth sign, right? Absolutely. So what has your experiences been like when you have done earthing and grounding? Is it positive?
It's so connecting. You can really feel the universe, like
feeling rooted and everything like that.
Because like really think about it, we're so small. This huge thing, like even this look, like
universe.
Even the Earth is smaller than the galaxies, and there's millions of galaxies.
Absolutely.
Like there's all these other problems that we're like talking about. In reality, it's not anything. Like if you really think about what we live in and what Earth is, like nothing matters. Nothing matters at all.
Love it. Yep. Nice.
And that makes me, when I'm grounding
She's
and all stuff, that makes me realize that.
Focusing on that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Lovely. All right. So now, can we see what your ladies' feet look like?
No.
So no and no. Why did we get a no?
Because you gotta pay me.
Gotta pay you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can only look at these feet. You gotta pay me.
Interesting. So same here. We got to pay you too.
No, I just it's just no. I don't like being asked to see any type of party. If anybody asks me, let me see your fingernails, I'll be like, no. Like,
interesting.
Don't ask me.
Really?
No.
I wonder what that is. Okay, so let me give you guys, ladies, some of the mental health, like why I got started with my channel, right? And like what the background of it is, and then we'll come back and see like what your thoughts are then. Okay. Have you ladies ever heard of exposure therapy before?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Okay. So exposure therapy is for like people who tend to like overthink situations, right? You feel uncomfortable in a certain setting, right? So people in those settings will like start to overthink situations. They think about like, this might happen, that might happen. You know, you think about like some of the craziest things that could happen, right? And in reality, a lot of the things you think about in those situations are things that actually are probably never going to happen, right? It's your mind constructing something like to prevent you from moving forward, right? So therapists prescribe for you to go out, right? Put yourself in that situation, right?
Yeah.
Do it over and over and over again so you can like expose yourself to that situation, right? Get used to feeling uncomfortable. When you're in that moment, you start to feel uncomfortable, you're supposed to ask yourself, okay, like, hey, like, is anything happening and threatening my life? Is anything like happening like crazy here? And if you can't find anything, right, a lot of times like those things are just like things trying to prevent you from like moving forward. So when I heard about that, I was like, man, I've been like that my entire life. Like, I'd overthink everything. Like, probably like, you know, 5-6 years ago, coming up to you ladies and asking you to do an interview would have been the furthest thing for me to do, right? Because I would think about like, oh man, if I approach, you know, they might say no, I might get embarrassed, other people are around or whatever like that, right? And so I'm like, let me take that exposure therapy, let me attach it to feet, because a lot of people feel uncomfortable about that subject, right? They tend to like think that it's a weird thing, like it's odd, it's not normal, right? And they have negative connotations attached to it. So the whole point of my channel is to like make it more of a positive experience, right? To create like positive dialogue about it, right? So for people who may have an attraction to that, right? They may like that. They don't have to feel like somebody's gonna look down on them or think that like they're weird or that it's like, hey, that's like super negative or whatever like that. We could be more positive about it, right? So what are your ladies' thoughts about that? Like kind of like what I'm trying to do on my channel, you know, making it like a more positive experience, normalizing the conversation. How do you feel about that? Because that's what we're trying to do.
Normalize the conversation of everything, you know? I don't think it's like specifically just feet. Like, I think it's
no, but for me, that's my, that's what I'm targeting. Yeah.
Okay. Do you?
Yeah, do you?
Okay, absolutely. So that's why when we get to this, if you notice how the conversation is going, I'm asking questions, right? We get to this step to see, can you continue to be comfortable, or is it something where you're like, you know what, don't feel comfortable there, right? I can tell you felt uncomfortable there. You're like, wait, asking me to see anything is like something. You're like, hey, I see some money first or whatever like that. Yeah. Absolutely. So I definitely get that. So like in terms of that, right? Is that something that's gonna be like a hard no because of that, like the way you feel, or is it something where can we get you out of the comfort zone? What is it?
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Maybe like on an intimate level, if it was something
in an intimate level.
And it's like, you know what, like let's go through this together. Like
Gotcha.
I'll get through my thing with you, but I think like when it comes to like the general public, there's just, I know again you shouldn't care about like what people think, but people are so fucked up. You know what I mean? So it's like, why put myself there?
Okay.
You know?
All right. So first of all, how you ladies feeling so far during the interview? How's it going? How you feeling?
Good.
Emotions? Chilling?
Vibing.
Got it. All right. So let's talk about reflexology. So reflexology, right? It's about the different pressure points you actually have in your hands and your feet, right? Those pressure points actually connect to different parts of your body.
I've seen people like put people to sleep. They're like,
yeah. So basically, like through acupuncture, through like massage, through acupressure, you can alleviate like stress and tension to various parts of your body, right? So for people who have migraines, right, they like suffer from migraines. So actually a portion of your hands and your feet you can massage that alleviates the tension you feel in those moments, right? There's also a piercing you can get that does the exact same thing. What are your ladies' thoughts about that? Like using something as a more holistic like approach to like preventing pains and like alleviating stress. How do you feel about that?
Oh yeah, we're all about the holistic CBD.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love like you have to do things with intent and like,
yeah.
medicinal.
Okay.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like in general, like a holistic way is the way to go because it's more of a healing route rather than like they're trying to make money off of you, you know? So like I would do anything to like heal, not necessarily just feel better. You know what I mean?
Got it. All right, so let's wrap up the
yeah.
Let's wrap up the interview. In terms of my approach, right? When I came up, I said, hey, you guys down to do an interview? Was my approach good? Was it bad? What were your thoughts about it?
It was good. You have good energy.
Yeah,
I feel like there's I will easily be like, no, please stop talking. You know, you can really read it.
Yeah.
So you did have a very, I don't know, you didn't come off aggressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. In terms of the interview from start to finish, right? Could you see how everything was going in a line? Did it make sense? Did you learn anything new from the information I provided?
Yeah.
I liked how it was like an open conversation, you know?
Yeah.
That's why it's called, the name of my channel is called Soulful Discussions. So
yeah.
double entendre, like we're meant to like have discussions that are pretty deep, like, you know, that encounter all these different topics that we talk about. Absolutely. So the last thing I'll ask, right, from a mental health standpoint, a life lesson that both of you have learned, like wise words that maybe somebody shared with you that you can share on my channel that could be helpful? It can be anything. Don't overthink.
Just okay. Can I cuss?
I cussed all the time.
Walk around and find out. Just like do it. Who cares? Like just try it. Like nobody can stop you. Just try it.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Just like kind of like I just like let go. Just don't worry about things. You know, there's so many things that we can worry about. Just don't. At the end of the day, we were born and we're gonna die. Like that's the one thing that we know is that we're gonna die. So just be happy. You know, be happy. Yeah. Be happy in any way that makes you happy. Don't harm others and spread love.
What you want.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you, ladies, so much. I definitely appreciate both of you like going through with the interview process. I know it's not easy. Appreciate you both. We hope that you have a great